Alright guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. We are discussing Blazblue Central Fiction. That was just announced last week. You heard it here, well, not first, but if you hadn't heard the announcement of this game already, you might just be under a rock. But it's amazing news all around. So without further ado, what we're going to do, for those of you out there who haven't seen the opening video that was released about Central Fiction, we're going to play that right now. And if you guys have any comments, feel free. So here we go. Without further ado, the video you've probably seen about 5 or 10 times, maybe more. We're going to play that right now.
私は青を取りに来たのでも願望を叶えるために来たのでもないわ。確かめに来たのよ。あなたが何者かを。行きましょう。時間がないわ。彼女が世界の破滅を望む前にこの事態をどうにかしなければ。
誰でもいいよ。俺は俺だ。ほら来いよ。助けて。
自分には望みなどありません。もともと空っぽですから。そいつが村雲ユニットなら悪いが潰させてもらうぞ。他人が作り上げた英雄など無価値だ。
反逆だなんて。私はただ死神を追いかけて。
ラグナにはまだ果たしてもらわなければならない役目があるの。
話してもらいますよ。あなたがどこまで青について知っているのか。
これは面白い。全てを忘れた貴様がまた繰り返すのか。
自分はある方のために存在しています。
あなたを知ってる。あなたは誰なの。ここは私が引き受けます。早く。
泥臭く戦うのは私だけでいいって。私はそういうの慣れてるし。
あなたの望む世界とやらがあなたにどんな残酷な現実を突きつけるのか楽しみですね。
世界を閉ざすこの奇怪な現象はあなたが原因なのか。私を探してってどこ探せばいいんだよ。
ような感じがする。夢を見てるような。
さあ、あなたはどんな世界を望むの？何が欲しい？どんな歴史を？どんな争いを？どんな破滅を望むのかしら？やがて誰かがイザナミを倒し世界の真実を知るわ。変えることのできない真実、セントラルフィクションを。その時人は視覚者何を選択するのかしらね。この無価値な世界で何を望むの？ラグナ・ザ・ブラッドエッジ。それがあなたの望みなの？まったく本当にくだらないわね。
There we have it, guys. There's the opening for Blazblue Central Fiction. Not the opening, but the amazing trailer that we saw last week and probably several times by now. But it still blows me away. I was definitely not expecting an announcement this soon about a new game. So this definitely comes as a surprise. Now, let's talk about what we know so far about Blazblue Central Fiction. Let's see here, guys. Alright. Now, everyone is going on about, yeah, you know, BlazBlue Chrono Phantasma Extend just released in the States. And a lot of people are up in arms, and they're like, hey, what gives? This is like Capcom-esque with their new releases and everything. Well, you know, they're churning out new titles, new BlazBlue titles, like almost yearly. So the thing is, like, Japan is way ahead of us. They create the content and everything. They hold the IP rights. So basically, they're doing what they want with their property and BlazBlue. So, but myself and I'm sure many others are just hyped about this game, regardless of us just buying Extend. So here's the deal. More details will be surfacing, I'm assuming, next week. They announced that there will be a local test from July 18th to the 20th in Japan. And I mentioned the fact that this will be that's for the arcade release. Now we're expecting a console release probably closer to late 2006. I say, you know, I'm gonna put the prediction out there that Central Fiction might release for consoles in Japan by Evo of next year. I mean, that would be a good time frame to aim for if they want this game to make Evo. But now about new features in the game. Some of what we've read and comments so far have said that, with every new BlazBlue iteration there's new mechanics. So here in Central Fiction we've heard that like, for example, in Calamity Trigger there was Guard Libra, and then that later got replaced by Guard Primers in Continuum Shift. And so there's been like a retooling or a reworking with every iteration. So it's hard to say exactly and pinpoint at this point what Central Fiction will add, but a couple of people have noticed that there's an overdrive symbol, and when you activate overdrive there's a number that counts down from the footage we have seen. So it's hard to say, like, will you be able to cancel your overdrive? Like, we hope to see more footage and more information next week. So, but there are 2 confirmed new systems so far that we know about. The first is Exceed Excel, and with that, it means that I think Exceed Excel is when you can activate a super powered attack during overdrive. Right, you press all buttons, whatever that means, simultaneously in the middle of overdrive, and it's like, I guess, is it like a super distortion? Overdrive specific distortion? That's my guess anyways. So we do know about the new art style changes thus far, and it's like BlazBlue is going back to its roots with very much akin to like Continuum Shift art style. So that has its pros and cons. I'm not like heavily swaying one way or the other in terms of like, okay, Chrono Phantasma art style was okay. A lot of people like Continuum Shift, but all around I think it's a nice change. It's a nice touch for the new title for sure. And there's a couple new changes which I'll talk about later once we get to our next topic. So what we know off the bat in terms of story, Hazama and Terumi confirmed not dead. I personally think that no character will perma-death in this series. Like, this is not Fire Emblem. The artist is Yuki Kato. Okay, appreciate that. So as I was saying, like, this is not Fire Emblem. We're probably not going to have any permadeaths in this series. So Terumi dies, he's like Sephiroth coming back again. So Hazama and Terumi are not dead. Azrael is also making a return. We'll talk about 9 a little bit later. We do know that Hibiki and Naoto were confirmed. I did not expect either of those characters, to be honest. Like, 9, which I'll talk about, who I will talk about later in a little bit more depth, but everyone sort of figured she would be playable eventually, and I say the same about Jubei. Now Jubei has not been confirmed, but I highly doubt he will eventually be in the game. So moving on, guys, we'll talk a little bit more in depth about the returning characters, what we've seen from the footage thus far. All right, let's see here. So, what we know about the returning characters thus far are all characters are coming back for Central Fiction. All characters returning from what we know so far. In terms of new moves, Ragna apparently has a little variation on his Helmbreaker move. Terumi has a standing overhead, which will help him out tremendously in the new version. Just having an overhead, that's something that he lacked outside of Overdrive, will help him a great deal in terms of being competitively viable. Jin now has some sort of air move of some sort. It's hard to see, these moves don't have official names or anything. People are saying Noelle is going to be a pain once more. She has a new dash type attack that apparently goes through low hitting moves. And Rachel has a new sort of trap. I also noted I saw that Platinum has a new item as well. Thanks for the link to the art gallery. I think for all the Central Fiction footage. Awesome stuff. So check it out, guys. More about the new changes to returning characters. Platinum new item, Rachel some sort of new trap. Hazuma has a new and different way to go into his 2-1-4D moves and a new distortion. Arakune has a new grab. Okay. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Beardvar. Appreciate it. Amane has a new launcher. Asriel has some sort of launcher into a spike. New direction for his 2-3-6C move. Mew has a new way to interact with her gunners. Izuyori can go nuts with a teleport-esque new thing. So a lot of we talked about our Kune grab. I think it's some sort of spider web trap. Lychee has a new launcher. Taokaka can do air stuff with her D moves. And Bang explodes with he literally explodes now with his D moves. Hakumen can do a command grab now. Kokonoi has more things she can do with her ball. She likes playing with balls, apparently. Anyways, Tager has a new form of a grab launcher to go into Atomic Collider, possibly. And Bullet can do a new form of OTG, sort of like Ragna's not done yet. 2-2-C move. Relius command grab. Okay, I did not know that. So that's just a short summary of some of the new changes to returning characters. Okay, I do have. We're gonna take a look at the HUD here. If I can find it. So here's a look at the HUD. Right now we have Hibiki and Jin. A little bit of different art style, as we can see for the portraits. And Overdrive gauge is different. It's got some sort of timer. I can't describe the mechanic accurately, but there is, as we mentioned, a new Overdrive mechanic in place. Little different changes below with the heat and meter gain. It's a little bit more simplistic, I believe. And of course, like if I'm not mistaken, every iteration they change up the count, the timer just a little bit. So now it's blue, whatever that means. And a little bit different font for like combos and such. Blazblue is awesome. You should check it out, Beardvar. Even if you don't play competitive fighters, the story is awesome. So I like it for the story as well as the competitive play, like many people. So there's a look at the HUD. My opinion is, I guess I'm too used to Chrono Phantasma's HUD, but it'll take any minute changes or significant changes, it will take a while to get used to. But so far it's I don't think it's final, but you know, a lot of people are liking what they see thus far. And I have the character select screen here. Now, you know, character select screen looks awesome. Compared to Chrono Phantasma, it's hard. Like we don't exactly see it in motion here, but so far I'm liking how it looks. You know, sort of like a throwback to the older titles, especially Continuum Shift, as I mentioned before. And people have said there's slots. They try to analyze, like, okay, there's a slot here for this new character that hasn't been announced yet, like 9 or etc. etc. I can't really say, like, you know, this upper left hand slot above Tsubaki and is that Lambda will be a new character, or it's too early to say, but people have speculated that. So with that said, we're going to get right into, we will be talking about who might be additions to the roster a little bit later on, guys. But right now, we're going to talk about Hibiki, his play style, what he could play like, and what we have seen thus far from Hibiki in the trailer. Alright guys, about Hibiki now. He's basically Kagura's right-hand man, to put it simply. He's a captain of the NOL. And as we saw a little bit, I actually had that clip here today, and it will help for people who haven't seen the story mode. Hibiki, you know, he's a competent fighter, and we saw a small glimpse of that in this cutscene with Jin. Basically, he's extremely capable of moving without being detected. Able to move behind Jin's back in the story scene, which I will play in just a minute here. So, Jin could only detect Hibiki once he got close to him. So, yeah. Somewhat of an unknown ability. We don't know exactly all about his drive and everything. Well, actually, we do, I think. From the information I have here, Hibiki's drive ability is called Double Chase, which allows him to make a clone of himself by, you know, you use the D button for all special attacks in Blazblue. And players will get to decide which is the real Hibiki when making clones. Now that sounds really tricky for a mix-up game. So, before we get into that, we are going to play a story segment about Hibiki, and I know everyone loves story. But it's like a 3-minute clip about Hibiki's origins, which was actually in Blazblue Chrono Phantasma Extend. So it's quite likely a lot of people missed it. So here we go, guys. Without further ado, we're going to play this clip.
How was your trip, First Lieutenant Kisaragi? Please, watch your step.
Thank you. My trip was fine. You've done well. Get some rest.
Yes, sir.
So this is Ikaraga. I was under the impression things would be worse here.
You must be First Lieutenant Kisaragi.
What?
Ah, just the swift response I'd hoped for. Brilliant, sir.
Who the hell are you?
My apologies, I haven't introduced myself. I am Hibiki Kohaku, Lord Kagura's loyal secretary. I have come on my lord's order to welcome you.
The Kohaku family. I've heard of you. One of the Mutsuki branch families. You train for silent assassinations.
Ah, interesting. Due to the, nature of our trade, we usually avoid appearing in the history books.
I don't give a damn about your family history. Take me to Kagura now. I need to speak with him.
Of course. As you have only just arrived, you would have needed to report to him regardless. This way, please. He awaits you in his office.
Let me give you fair warning, Hibiki Kohaku.
Of?
Don't ever stand behind me. If I sense you hiding your presence or you so much as look at me wrong, I will cut first and ask questions later.
Ah, so you've been holding back.
Do you think I'm joking?
Goodness, no. I will endeavor to keep your warning foremost in my mind, sir.
Huh. Strange child.
So there we have it, guys. Now, what I'm curious of is, what do people think of Hibiki's English voice actor? Now, he's actually voiced by Steve Staley, and for those of you who don't know, I didn't know this until I looked it up, but he voices Kadaj in Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Now, that didn't immediately come to my mind, but you know, this dude's actually pretty amazing. He also has many other roles in anime and video games as well. And if you ever played Tales of Grace's F, he voices Hubert Oswell in that game. So, two little known facts that, you know, this guy, I think he does pretty damn good for Hibiki. So we're hoping to see him once more for the English dub of Central Fiction. Now, this video here, we're gonna have a slow-mo of the Hibiki footage, so you guys can see like some of the potential mix-up game that Hibiki will have. I might as well play it right now. Okay, so basically this is a frame by frame. As you can see, Hibiki is coming across, and if you can choose the hitbox here, the top portion actually hit Jin. So the player, Jin, for example, his opponent, won't know where the hitbox is coming on that attack. So it's like if you block low, you're going to hit, actually the Mirage might go over his head. Here we go again. So see, Jin is standing and he doesn't know if he's getting hit by a high or a low. And for his second attack here, it's a little bit different because Hibiki is in one place for a couple frames, and then his Phantom Mirage glides forward, and then it's tricky stuff. I'm telling you. But Hibiki basically uses dual swords. Very awesome. People have speculated that, you know, they look at Sho in Persona 4 Arena, and despite like having dual swords, I don't think Hibiki will play like Sho. You know, he's got, just if you look at his trickiness and how what we've seen of his move set thus far, he's going to be, you know, I'm predicting like incredible mix-up potential. He'll probably have a lot of feints. Yes, that's what I'm anticipating as well. Let me see what else I can say about Hibiki. So I guess thus far we've seen like 2 attacks, but I'm assuming the majority of his moveset will again revolve around his shadow ability, his ability to choose where he's sending out these clones of himself with different, you have to guess the hitbox pretty much, or study his animations. So there we go. There's Hibiki for you. So we're gonna move on to the next character that was announced, and that is Naoto from the Blood Edge experience. Pardon me if I'm saying his name wrong. Now, this was a character I definitely did not see coming. You know, the Blood Edge experience is a very, like, most English speakers don't know what the heck that is. Basically, it's a Blazblue light novel series, and there's a number of characters that make their appearance there. So Naoto, basically, for the majority of people, just came out of left field, pretty much. So again, he's a character from the Blood Edge experience, which happens around the same time as X-Blaze. We'll talk about X-Blaze a little bit later. Now, it's been speculated that Naoto is where Ragna's soul was, basically where his soul originally belonged. Hella confusing, I know. But he's a servant of... either Rachel's previous form or her sister Raquel Alucard. Now, okay. His real name, Naoto's real name is Naoto Terumi. Hella confusing story information. Kurogane is his mother's name. He uses a drive called Blood Edge, which I assume will be the name of his drive in this game. So, again, servant of Raquel, however you say her name, but that's my guess. Alucard, who is Rachel's sister. Now, people can speculate, well, it's possible that Saya Terumi could also be playable. But we'll get into the Blood Edge experience and additional characters that could come from that a little bit later on. Yes, Blood Edge is between X-Blaze and Blazblue. Carmine clone confirmed. Not quite. He does use a lot of blood attacks, which we'll see in his footage, which I might as well play right now for you guys. It's a slow-mo of what we've seen from the trailer footage, pretty much. So, as we can see here, Naoto is summoning, which looks like blood. So, he's primarily a melee attacker, as we can see right here. But, part of his drive is he can summon up these, one could describe them as blood objects. So here, and as we can see, another feature people have seen is that his hair goes white. There's a blood axe coming out. His hair goes white in overdrive. So that's a very interesting touch. I guess he wants to go he wants to go Devil Trigger on us. that's the best comparison I can make. So there's a sword coming out, diagonal anti-air. But I guess his normals, he will use his fist. So I do have some additional notes on Naoto here to talk about his moveset and how he will play. Basically, they're calling his special ability Enhancer. This will allow him to pull off special attacks while dashing, which looks like he's summoning his blood edge weapons in the middle of a dash, at least. And when you use him successfully, you will get additional hits or different effects to your attacks. So very interesting stuff. I hope to see more of Naoto. Now, we can speculate who would possibly voice him. It's hard to say, because the thing about it is, with Naoto being from the Blood Edge experience, a series that is Blazblue, but again, separate from Blazblue. It's like we don't know if an X-Blaze character makes it. Who will voice them? We have no idea. So I cannot tell you who would be a good fit to voice him. I guess we'll have to see next year. And the final character will be moving on to Todd Haberkorn. Now, for those of you who don't know, Todd Haberkorn voices Sho and Minazuki, and Persona 4 Arena. I guess that would be somewhat of a troll move, but I don't think Todd Haberkorn is a good fit. He's a good fit for Sho, but we'll see, guys. Now, the last character, we only saw her sprite, but 9 is playable, we're assuming. I mean, they wouldn't make her sprite and troll us, right? They wouldn't troll us in the announcement of this game with a playable 9 sprite without her being playable, right? We hope not. So we're assuming 9 is playable. A character everybody wanted, right? I did, personally. Now, her alternate name, or her real name, is Kanoi A. Mercury, more commonly known as 9. She's a witch, one of the 6 heroes, one of the 10 sages, and previous wielder of Gigant Take Mikazuki. And after her supposed death by the hands of Yuki Terumi, Kanoi mysteriously came back, and that we saw her as Phantom. brainwashed. You know, she doesn't have her previous persona. She's like a brainwashed zombie. But surprisingly, in this game, she's like a living being. I mean, she's back to her old self pretty much, which we actually don't know. I don't have this slide with the still image with me, but 9 in the trailer, she had like a shadowy looking eyes, like she's an evil person. So I cannot tell you what happens in the story mode. Everything that will happen in Central Fiction story mode is like a huge toss-up. We don't know what's going to happen. You know, so many timelines, Blood Edge experience coming together to meet the main timeline is so confusing. So that makes me excited as a you know, as a fan of the story mode in BlazBlue. We just don't know what to expect. So what sort of what could be a possible 9 moveset if you ask? Well, she uses fire magic. So she's a mage, and I believe the first for BlazBlue, if I'm not mistaken. Now the question is, will she use melee attacks in addition to her fire? Will she combo with? I'm sure she'll have fire combos, but I'm guessing a mix of like fire attacks and melee punches and kicks. So she has spells such as Gravity Seeds, Infinite Corridors, Mind Eater. She can possibly teleport. Kokonori can teleport. She's not a mage, but we're expecting possibly some form of movement outside of the ordinary, hovering or teleportation. And it says here she can also wield lightning magic, which I did not know. Interesting. But I'm primarily banking on seeing fire magic for the most part. Now, I thought a cool effect would be possibly in Overdrive would be for 9 to have like damage over time flame effects or persistent flame damage on a field. Like, say she's in Overdrive and a character walks over this particular tile on the floor. It'd be like an obstacle in a way. I think that would be awesome. Now, again, I can't say how Arc Systems will design a character, but she has to fire. Somewhat similar to Roy. Yeah, Smash Brothers. But she's a mage. She uses fire. So I'm really hyped to see how she will turn out. Now, I know people have their gripe with 9's English voice actress. But again, you know, I made this sort of comparison when I was talking about Celica and Kara Savage. You know, it's possible she will blow everyone away, which I can't remember who voiced her right now off the top of my head, but it's possible she will blow us away in her performance. We'll see. So we're going on, guys. Hibiki confirmed. Naoto confirmed. 9 very likely will be confirmed. Who voices 9? I don't know her English voice actress, as I mentioned, but we hope to find it out. Or I'm sure it's on the wiki. Now, guys, speculation time. Is that everything I want to say about 9? I think so. Possible new characters. Additional playable characters and characters that I think. Amanda C. Miller. Okay. Shoegazer with the tips. We appreciate it, man. Now, possible new characters besides Hibiki, Naoto, and 9. A lot of people want Jubei. People are like, no Jubei, no buy. Well, yeah, everyone wants Jubei pretty much. But, you know, you can speculate all day about who we will see for Central Fiction. Now, let me just give you guys some facts about what we know about the history of BlazBlue and the characters that have been added for extends for the vanilla release of a new main series title. Looking at Chrono Phantasma Extend, we've had a total of 8 characters. So the new characters were Azrael, Bullet, Amane, Kokonoi, Kagura, Terumi, Celica, and Lambda. So we had 3 characters who were in arcades initially. Oh, I'm actually forgetting Izuyoi. So, if I'm not mistaken, didn't we have Bullet, Azrael, and Amane? And then Izuyoi was like the console Chrono Phantasma only release. And then for Chrono Phantasma DLC, later for console specific DLC, we had I'm forgetting Kagura, who was also, I think, console specific. I could be wrong on these facts, guys, but Kokonoi and Terami were later down the road were DLC for the original Chrono Phantasma. And then jump ahead like a year and a half, Lambda and Celica. So if we look at the span of 8 characters, there's so many possibilities. So I really don't know. Is Iname, aka the Imperator, I'm also saying will be playable. For sure. It would not make sense if this is potentially the last Blazblue game, which I meant to talk about a little bit earlier in the stream. If this is the last Blazblue game, which would make me sad. I mean, people say final Blazblue game. You know, this is the end of Ragnar's story. They should definitely, you know, try to please their fans. You know, Jubei playable, very likely. Izaname, Imperator, Saya, she has so many different aliases. I think she will be playable as well. Now, about how these characters might play. Just from a comment I read, this one comment from someone on the internet I thought was very helpful and interesting. He's saying Jubei, Mai, Keijin, Saya, and maybe Linhua have the highest chance of being added. Speaking about Homura, she's basically Kagura and Bang protected her, saved her. She was like hidden underground or something. So we didn't see her until the end of Chrono Phantasma. But she's saying Homura doesn't strike her as a combatant. Now, Celica is playable, so if they want to make Homura playable, they will make her playable. But now Torakaka, this poster is saying Torakaka is actually could be playable, and sort of in the same sort of fashion you look at the Carl and Relia situation. So Torakaka could be like a, I don't know, Tao clone, if you want to call her that. I don't know what she would do. Would she be like a slower, heavy hitting version of Tao, maybe? Aside from that, I'll talk a little bit more about the Blood Edge experience and characters we could see from that, because that opens up all sorts of new possibilities. Basically, a lot of people don't know about the Blood Edge experience, and it's still like speculating and brainstorming. What could they do? You know, Naoto is playable. What does that mean for additional characters that come from the Blood Edge experience? X-Blaze. Will characters be revived that we previously thought were dead? You know, we can think about this for days. Now, Raquel Alucard is Rachel's sister. You know, we don't see her in the main Blazblue timeline. How will she fight? We don't know much about that either. Again, these characters, we haven't seen them outside of the light novel. So, and I can't even really, since I haven't personally read much about the Blood Edge experience myself, there's little I can say about it. But I will say that the highest characters that have the best shot of being playable are Saya Terami. Now that will get really confusing. If Saya Terami got playable, Raquel isn't Rachel, but she's hot. Okay, thank you, Sugazer. I guess if you wanted an older Rachel, there you go. But I guess she's still under 18. Anyways, so say if Saya Terami got playable, opens up so many possibilities about, okay, yeah. So the current timeline, Saya / Imperator / Hades and Izaname is this figure that looks somewhat similar to Saya Terami in the alternate timeline from the Blood Edge experience. I mean, nanomachines. Nanomachines. But those are my best guesses from characters from the Blood Edge experience. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about X-Blaze. Where is that? Now, I've meant to put S here in this playable character slide. S from X-Blaze. Now, X-Blaze, for those of you who are not familiar, is it's basically a visual novel, and a lot of people don't know about it. But check it out if you guys have a chance. I believe the North American launch for X-Blaze Lost Memories, it got moved ahead. It's sometime in August. I know, silly for me not knowing the exact date, but no longer September 1st. It's a Tuesday in the middle of August, I believe, for the launch of X-Blaze Lost Memories. Now, you don't really have to buy the X-Blaze code embryo, because X-Blaze Lost Memories, pretty much, it's really welcoming to new players to X-Blaze. So it offers lots of flashback sequences, and you can actually play now. But enough about Lost Memories. I want to talk about S. She's the short blonde-haired girl. Supposedly the origin of the Murakumo units. That sounds like fan fiction. Well, it's a light novel. It's canon though. I mean, we do have Naoto, so we could see Saya Terumi and Raquel Alucard in addition. Now, from X-Blaze, a lot of people say S has the largest shot of being in the game, but I'm a huge fan of X-Blaze, and there's so many playable characters. I mean, characters that could be playable from X-Blaze. So much moveset potential. We'll see what Arc Systems does. And I think that will lead us into our final topic. Basically, wrapping up everything here. So, what do you guys want to see with Blazblue Central Fiction? What mechanics do you want to see? What playable characters do you want to see? What stages do you want to see? I talked about my design. Like, if one X-Blaze character makes it into the game, I will be a happy camper. Is that likely? It depends where the story goes. Now, I have no idea how Naoto will be tied into the storyline, to be honest. That makes me ever so curious what they will do. And just, we assume that every character who is added, playable, will have some sort of significance in the story. We talked about Terumi, Azrael, Hazuma, characters we thought that were either dead or detained or whatever. They're coming back somehow. New character that no one heard of. Enough with the waifus. Oh, we don't have a waifu yet. I get maybe for some people 9 is some people's waifu. I guess it could be possible. Oh, Kazuma. Shoegazer wants another form of Terumi, basically, or the original. Was that like the original persona? Hazuma's original persona, and if I can remember correctly, Terumi took over. It's really complicated, but basically you have this one individual who was Kazuma, and I forgot his name. He was in the Mages Guild. And then Terumi comes and he's like, well, I'm going to shove my soul or whatever into this body and become a new alias in Hazuma. And then you have Terumi infesting, like completely taking over Kazuma's body, and that's the alias that we know, the playable alias we know in Terumi. So, but so far, guys, I'm liking what I'm seeing of the game. It's amazing. We don't want to like ring our doomsday bells because Central Fiction does have a ways to go. I'm guessing, as I talked about a little bit earlier, roughly at the minimum a year. I think if they could get it, the Japanese release out before EVO of next year, that would be impeccable timing. Because I really want to see Blazblue at EVO next year. Okay, and Turbo, I forgot to mention, talked about Black Beast Ragna, possibly. Nobody, a character I did not think about, or did not come to my mind as being playable. And Saya, yeah. Saya, I think, Saya in the form of Hades, Izanami, and Imperator. That's the form, I believe, of Saya that will be playable. Now, about Black Beast Ragna, I mean, it's possible. It's certainly possible. If it's likely, that's another story. Wrapping up here, guys. At least officially. Again, we hope to see Central Fiction console release sometime, I'm guessing early next year before summer. So there will be more news coming out about Central Fiction next week, because the Loke test is going on in Japan from July 18th to the 20th. So you know, check your Twitters, check the interwebs for news. Have we said anything about Amane? Amane, he has a new, let me check it, let me remember it. He's got some sort of new launcher attack. I know that's not very detailed, but we're hoping Amane is, you know, more character balance. People say Blazblue is one of the balanced air dashers or anime fighters. Outside of the brokenness that was Broken Noe and 1.0. So there we have it, guys. Stay tuned for more Central Fiction, Blazblue Central Fiction news in the coming weeks. We hope to find out more about 9, how her moveset will operate. I'm sure basically, you know, information will trickle through us. I'm guessing through the Famitsu scans. That's how we got a lot of our information, you know, on CP Extend, back when it was called Chrono Phantasma 2.0. So a lot of new information. That's a very huge source of new information. So I'm guessing in the coming weeks we'll find out more info on 9 and possibly another arcade character. But as usual, they will save more news and more playable character reveals for the console release. So there we have it, guys. Blazblue Central Fiction, amazing announcement trailer. We're all very hyped. We want to see Blazblue at EVO next year. So please, Arc Systems, make it happen. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned. You can check out our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/anime_inspirations. We hold netplay tournaments for many anime fighters, including Blazblue. We're known for the Anticlass series. We're also hosting side tournaments. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is finishing up next week. We're hosting Uniel right after that. Potentially Dengeki. So give us a follow. You know, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate it, guys. And if you haven't already, give Blazblue a try. Thanks for watching, guys.